Hello and welcome to Looe, and today I'm travelling the Looe Valley Line between Liskeard and Looe. And when I lived in Cornwall, this was one of my favourite places to come, and I've been on the railway before but not for many years. So I'm going to have a look around Looe today and also the station, but on my way back to Liskeard I'll be stopping off at all of the smaller stations along the way. So Sandplace, Causeland, Keyne Wishing Well Halt, and also Coombe Junction Halt, which is the least used passenger railway station in Cornwall and one of the least used in the whole of the UK. I hope you enjoy watching the video. The journey to Looe is full of beautiful views out of the train window, and you have the wooded valleys teeming with wildlife, and it opens up as you approach Looe into this glorious estuary view as the river meets the sea. This stretch of line is very popular with bird watchers, especially at low tide, and the river is full of wading birds such as little egrets, grey herons, oyster catchers and curlews. The Looe Valley Line opened in 1860 from a station at Moorswater, which is just to the west of Liskeard, and back in those days the line continued through to the quayside at Looe. Passenger services commenced on the line in 1879, but the Moorswater terminus was very inconvenient because it is a fair distance from Liskeard station and the Cornish mainline. To get around this problem, a curving link line was introduced at Coombe Junction, which provided a direct connection between this line and the GWR station at Liskeard, and as a result, passenger numbers tripled overnight. In fact, the Great Western Railway promoted the attractive seaside resort of Looe as a holiday destination in the railway's publicity. In 1966, the line was due to be closed under Dr. Richard Beeching's reshaping of Britain's railways plan, but it was reprieved just 2 weeks before its scheduled closure by the then Minister of Transport, Barbara Castle. As I mentioned earlier, the line did extend at one time all the way down to the harbour, where fish was unloaded from trawlers for transportation up country to London. However, over time, these uses of the line receded and the line's focus turned more to passenger traffic, with the track to the harbour closing in 1954. The hamlet of Sandplace is around 2 miles to the north of Looe, and it gets its name from a wharf on the riverbank where sea sand was stored, which together with lime, which was imported from Plymouth and burnt in nearby kilns, was used to improve the acidic soil of the area. As I mentioned a little earlier, the Liskeard and Looe Railway opened in 1860. But Sandplace did not have a station until late 1881, and there was a good siding provided just a short distance to the south of the station, but this has been closed now for many years. Like all of the intermediate stations on the line, Sandplace is a request stop. And the only facilities here are a small waiting shelter along with a bench and an information board with timetable posters. In years gone by, flowers would be picked at Sandplace and sent by train to London for sale in Covent Garden. And local children from the area around Looe would often earn extra pocket money by picking primroses, snowdrops and violets, which were then boxed up and loaded onto the train for sale to customers in the capital. The Devon and Cornwall Rail Partnership runs a volunteering programme with the University of Plymouth to help students give something back to the local community. And young people today work to keep the station looking smart and welcoming. Well, the next train that was due along here this afternoon has been cancelled due to a shortage of train crew. So I'm going to take a walk of about 1.25 miles to the next station along the line. Walking along these country lanes, you hardly see any traffic at all. It's really delightful, and the lanes more or less follow the track all the way to the next station at Causeland. This is Causeland Station, and it's midway between Liskeard and Looe on the Looe Valley Line. And when the line first opened to passengers in 1879, it was the only intermediate station at that time. It's a request stop, like all of the other minor stations along the line, but it is beautifully looked after. There's lots of wildflower areas here too, and you're in the middle of nowhere really. It's all surrounded by country lanes and countryside, and there's no houses around the area at all. And I think in the hour or so that I've been here, I've only heard about half a dozen cars going past outside, so it's really remote, and it has no mobile phone signal either. But that's part of the charm of the station. It's really beautiful. When the Liskeard and Looe Railway began running passenger services in 1879, Causeland was the only intermediate station on the line at that time. As I mentioned in my introduction, the station is tucked well away from settlements of any great size, and there were moves to close the station when neighbouring Sandplace station opened to the south in 1881, and again with the arrival of St Keyne Wishing Well Halt to the north in 1902. However, on both occasions, local opposition meant the station lived to see another day. For me, one of the charms of this station is that it's hidden away amidst the foliage. The nearest village to Causeland is at Looe, which is located at the top of a very steep hill. And Looe has a very rare stone circle which dates back to the Bronze Age and is constructed of 8 white quartz blocks. Well, it's nearly time for my train, which will take me to the next station along the line from here, about a mile away, at Keyne Wishing Well, Halt. This is Keyne Wishing Well, Halt, which was the last of the intermediate stations to be opened on the line in 1902, and a year earlier the line was extended up the hill to Liskeard from the Coombe Junction curve. And it is interesting that this station has the name Halt in its station name, as does Coombe Junction, and they're the only 2 stations on the whole of the UK mainline rail network that still have the name Halt in their station names, and they're both here on the Looe Valley Line. The St Keyne Well is about a quarter of a mile's walk from here, so I'm going to go and take a look. St Keyne was a 5th century holy woman known for her good deeds, and she lends her name to the Holy Well, and according to legend she planted 4 trees, an oak, an elm, an ash and a willow around the head of the well to invoke upon it a bewitching spell. The spell dictates that whichever partner in a newly formed marriage drinks from the well first will have the upper hand in the marriage and rule over their partner. There's a certain charm about the station name here, St Keyne Wishing Well, Halt, and it's almost like something that comes straight out of an Enid Blyton novel. Like many country stations, St Keyne is some distance away from the village that it serves. Like the other minor stations along the Looe Valley Line, St Keyne is very much a simple station. It's clean, it's tidy, and it's ample for the handful of passengers who use it. And I was really taken to see the GWR emblems that are embedded in the metalwork of the bench on the platform. Signs of the old Liskeard and Looe Union Canal are apparent with the 2 arches of the road bridge. The canal bed can still be seen from beneath the arched span of the bridge. train which is going to take me to the last of the small intermediate stations on the line at Coombe Junction, Halt. And I'll be looking at the famous curve that transformed the fortunes of this line and Looe itself. Well, if you're a railway enthusiast like me, no trip to Cornwall is complete without a visit to Coombe Junction, Halt. It's easy to see why not many trains come here, because just look at the track bed and how overgrown it is. In fact, only 2 trains in each direction call here between Monday and Saturday, one early in the morning and one around late afternoon. So why do so few trains call at this station? Well, part of the reason is the rather odd geography of the Looe branch line, as can be seen by this map of the area. If you follow the red line on the map, all trains leave from platform 3 at Liskeard, which is perpendicular to the main Penzance to Paddington route, and it then departs north before turning around and passing under the main line. There is a ground frame which is just short of Coombe Junction, Halt, and all trains going between Liskeard and Looe and vice versa need to reverse at this point. The guard will then get out of the train, manually change the points, and the train will continue. Here, the train is travelling down the hill from Liskeard, and as it reaches Coombe, you can see the line to Looe on the left-hand side. The train then stops for the guard to adjust the points. Once the points have been adjusted, the train then continues on its journey, but this time heading along the track to Looe. And you can see here the track coming down the hill from Liskeard is now on the left. The train stops again briefly for the points to be reset before continuing along its journey to Looe. Points are just short of the station at Coombe Junction, Halt, so there's no need for the train to continue into the platform. And as a result, most trains skip the platform entirely and just reverses short of the platform on its journey either to Liskeard or to Looe. So why doesn't anybody much use this station? Well, there isn't really very much here apart from just a couple of houses. The station is fairly close to Liskeard, and it certainly is within walking distance, although it's all uphill and the hill is very steep. Just in front of me is the platform at Coombe Junction, Halt, and I guess what I like about it is the fact it's so quirky. And it's one of those things that, as a railway enthusiast, you just want to say that you've been here. It's a case of what you see is what you get, and there are a couple of information boards and also a bit about the history of the station and the surrounding area, along with this waiting shelter and a hell point. Until November 2020, cement trains also operated on this route, and they would continue through Coombe Junction Halt station, heading towards Moorswater. And whilst the line has not been officially closed, it is now extremely overgrown. There is a really good view from here of the viaduct which carries the Cornish mainline and trains travelling between Plymouth and Penzance. When it was unveiled in 1901, the section of line that arcs between Liskeard and Coombe Junction was a revelation. And for the previous 4 decades, the line from Looe had only extended as far as this point. This meant a very steep walk for passengers wanting to go to Liskeard or who had a train to catch on the Cornish mainline. All of that changed thanks to a Cornish engineer, Joseph Thomas, who designed the horseshoe curve, and to this day it carries the line up the 1 in 40 gradient to meet the mainline at Liskeard. The train is now making the steep climb up the hill, and as we do so, we pass underneath the Cornish mainline before the train makes a 90-degree turn as it enters platform 3 at Liskeard station. The train has just stopped here briefly to set down its passengers and to pick up its passengers on its return journey to Looe. And the train makes 15 return journeys to Looe every day during the week, along with 8 return trips on a Sunday during the summer timetable. As I mentioned earlier in the video, a railway had run from Looe to Moorswater in the valley to the west of Liskeard since 1860. But with the introduction of the curve at Coombe Junction, from 1901, the Liskeard and Looe Railway was extended here to the Great Western Railway Station at Liskeard, and platform 3, where the trains terminate, is at right angles to the mainline platforms 1 and 2, which carry trains between Penzance and Plymouth. A heritage centre was opened in 2021 to mark the 120th anniversary of the opening of this station at platform 3 at Liskeard and the horseshoe curve to Coombe Junction, which provided a direct rail link between Looe and the Cornish mainline, and in doing so connected the Looe branch line to the rest of the country for the first time. Well, I've arrived back at Liskeard Station, platform 3, and that brings an end to my visit today to this delightful Looe Valley Line. And I visited Looe on many occasions when I lived in Cornwall, but I've never visited those intermediate stations before, and they were charming. I thoroughly enjoyed myself today. And whilst I'm in Cornwall, I'll be filming on the other branch lines at St Ives, at Falmouth, and also at Newquay, as well as visiting some of the mainline stations on the GWR main line between Plymouth and Penzance. Meanwhile, thanks for watching this video from Looe, and I look forward to bringing you another video from Cornwall real soon. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.